Look into my eyes. I'm going to hypnotize you. Yes, you. Right now. No, don't look away. Look into my eyes. Relax. You want to smoke. You want a smoke that will make your mouth taste fresh? There is such a smoke. It's called Spud. New Spud. It's new. New. It's a completely new filter cigarette. Other cigarettes have filters, but this new Spud has something else. It has a light touch of menthol that freshens the smoke. Something wonderful. New Spud by the makers of Marlboro. New Spud has a filter tip. It has a crush-proof box. It has a fresh taste like it was air-conditioned. You're going to try new Spud tomorrow. You're going to try new Spud. You're going to buy a pack tomorrow.
Are you smoking yet?
It's probably the scariest cigarette commercial I've ever seen.
They totally said to hell with subliminal messaging. We're just going to go right at this.
Yeah,
That was great. I like that.
Super liminal. Buy Spud or we'll kill you.
You will buy things from gearwebsites.com.
Look at the G websites.
Since you were talking about it, gearwebsites.com, a place to buy 2A related stickers, patches, t-shirts, and other
3D
stuff.
prints and books.
Oh, yeah. Let me get that going. So at the bottom of the screen, there's a ticker going. It's somewhere you can send them. There's also a link in the description for the Gilded, the overnight Gilded server. It's a place to hang out, chit chat, share pictures, memes, stuff like that. And you can also get a hold of myself or Baron, who's not here tonight. I think he was out in the chat earlier. And he's on the injured reserve tonight. Wish I could say it was a cool injury, like dirt bike injury or something like that, but he hurt his knee, so he won't be on tonight. But rest up.
Well, I mean, clearly he hurt his knee by kickstarting his dirt bike.
Well, he was trying to kickstart a workbench and blew his knee out.
Oops.
Yeah. But so let's take a quick look who's out there. Sergeant Joe Smith and 2 Live Moo, Bjorn, G23, and Baron was out there. It's probably all hopped up on goofballs by now. Wesley Foster, Guns BBQ, Smaggy, Roy Munson, Terry Smith's Kitchen. Good evening, everybody. Let me, give me just a second. I forgot to do one thing here. Gotta go there. Forgot to call up my own poll. There we go. So this week's poll, and I guess I should share that so everybody can see what we're talking about. There was best style of donuts: the light and fluffy melt in your mouth yeast donut, tough and chewy cake donuts, donuts or I'm a weirdo that doesn't like donuts. And yeast donuts ran away with it, 63%. The tough and chewy cake donuts, 22%. Donuts are donuts, 12%. And looks like 2%. There's one weirdo out there that doesn't like donuts. PNW Wood said Voodoo and PDX, Maple Bacon Bar, best donut ever. That's Voodoo Donuts down in Portland. Hipster Donuts. Karen Woodson said Krispy Kreme Donuts. The Krispy Kreme donut lover here. I have the app which notifies me of when hot light is on. I stock the donut goodness. MC says free donuts are best. Charger 8954. Nice plain glazed. I know it's a boring answer, but when has a glazed donut when has a plain glaze that's never hit the spot? I think he means. Every once in a while, I do like those Hostess chocolate covered mini donuts. Music Logic, never had a tough chewy cake donut. Must be a West Coast thing. Seeing as donuts are a Midwest staple, we know how to make them properly. Glaze raised, double honey, chocolate cake glazed are equally delicious. And Shafty said anybody who doesn't choose cake donuts can get shafted. Also, number 2 vote is for donut holes. I do like donut holes. I prefer yeast donuts because they are fluffy and melt in your mouth. I'll take cake donuts if that's all there is, but it's not my first choice. What about you 2, 3, 4? Whoever's here.
I voted for cake donuts, but this was a pretty difficult one for me. But I've never had a chewy cake donut, so like if it was going to be a chewy cake donut, definitely no way I would vote for that. But like all the cake donuts I've had have been moist and just kind of crumble in your mouth like a piece of cake would. Has been great.
If I suddenly disappear, I'll be back as fast as I can because, yeah.
All right.
I just blipped out for a second.
So double chocolate is what I like, and you can't get the whatever you're talking about kind in chocolate very often, if at all, really. Maybe filled with chocolate. And then the only thing I can think of that would be chewy would be like something in a box or like a package, like a cellophane or something where it, whatever, the oil was up a little bit too high or whatever, and it got kind of spongy or something.
Well, I was being a little facetious, but the cake donuts are heavier. That was kind of the point. They're heavier than the yeast donuts.
Well, for sure. And there's definitely more donut in a cake donut, right? I bet you there's twice as much donut there. Because like you're saying, it's dense.
Honto Fets out there said any maple frosted donut is the best. That's what I do like. Maple bars, or I forget what the East Coast name for maple bars are. And glazed donuts. Those are probably the 2 that if I'm going to get a donut, I'll get one of those 2. Or sometimes the cinnamon twist, which is just like a glazed donut that's in a twist form with cinnamon on it.
Don't the Pacific Northwest, don't you have those kinds that are zombie or something, or voodoo or something, where they group them all up with frostings and stuff?
There is a voodoo in Portland, and I think there might be one in Seattle. I've never been to it. It's all hipster nonsense where they just throw a bunch of crap on it.
Yeah, I've eaten like one or two like that, and yeah, I'm like, I mean, I guess if you're gonna throw a bunch of frosting on there, great. But if you're not, and it's just a bunch of like candies and candy corn or something, like, no thanks.
Yeah, and I think they do like Captain Crunch or stuff like that too. Bjorn said, "Got to go. Almost 2 a.m." Well, thanks for stopping by. And I put a link for the community tab, so if you haven't voted, you can go over there and vote. Roy Munson said, "Best donut is unglazed, old-fashioned cake donut dipped in black coffee." So Roy Munson is 75 years old.
I can see that. I mean, that's not my first thing, but if that's all you got left, I could see dipping it in coffee. That's pretty good.
I always get a blueberry cake donut and dip it in milk.
There you go. Same kind of thing.
Yep.
Well, I mean, coffee and milk are two different, but I mean, it's the same kind of thing. When you get a cake donut, like you're not going to dip the kind you're talking about. You're talking like a Krispy Kreme. You don't really dip those in coffee, do you?
I don't dip anything in anything.
Yeah, they kind of melt if you dip it. Like you say, they kind of melt in your mouth. So
yeah,
maybe that's why cake donuts exist, is for people that are dipping them in coffee and stuff, or milk or whatever.
I give you that. But I don't, like cookies. I don't dip them in milk. It makes them soggy. I don't want a soggy cookie.
Yeah, I don't know why people do that. I think you do that if you're trying to eat fewer cookies or something, and you want to waste a bunch of time, like you're trying to make a big ordeal out of it.
Budman 1778 said, "I prefer the donut holes that float down the river of grease at the county fair." I do like donut holes. G23 said, "Voodoo Donuts in Portland, Eugene, and all over the United States." He's just trying to justify being a hipster that likes hipster donuts.
You ever make donuts out of those like circle or those cylinders of biscuit stuff you buy in the store that's already made? Like pocket
No.
You can just deep fry that and it makes it kind of like a donut.
G23 said he thinks there's a Voodoo Donut in Phoenix.
We used to take those camping all the time, make like a Dutch oven full of Crisco or something, and then a bunch of those tubes and throw them in there.
Barrett said old-fashioned donut or an apple fritter. Tara Smith Kitchen said the Dunkin' Donut when it had a handle. Roy Munson said, "I'm 37, but I've been called an old man before." Well, we'll say old man in spirit, not in flesh. Echoes Reloading Chamber said Krispy Kreme all the way. I really like Krispy Kreme, but it'll coat your mouth, and it feels like your mouth is coated with lard. So I don't eat them too often. It's been a while since I've had any. There's closest one I think is about half an hour north of me. And for some reason, the ones that they'll box for charities, they put them in smaller boxes, and then instead of lying flat, they're stood on end and stacked that way in the box. Those seem to stay fresher longer. And it, could just be my imagination, but when I used to see those, I'd always grab those over the ones that are laying flat in a box. Echo said, "I just turned 50 on the 21st of November. I'm an old man now. Well, happy birthday. Welcome to the club." But yeah, cake donuts aren't my go-to, but I'll still eat a cake donut. I'm not going to turn one away. Wouldn't kick it out of bed for making crumbs.
What I won't eat is a jelly. I don't like jelly donuts. I'll just leave them there. I wouldn't even consider it.
I do. I don't like the custard filled ones, but I like the jelly filled.
I'll eat a custard before a jelly, but I hear you. Custard can be not good.
Custard's disgusting. Jelly filled donuts, I can get behind that, but those custard things, nope.
So I'll still get the Hostess ones with the raspberry filling now and again. And those are cake donuts.
I don't even know what that is. Wait, you're saying there's a donut with filling from Hostess?
Yeah.
I think I'm only familiar with the little tiny donuts from Hostess.
Maybe I'm thinking France. Now I'm. Yeah, it might be France. Sweet Bakery donuts. Yeah, I guess it's France, not Hostess. I swear Hostess used to make one.
But those places will do regional stuff sometimes. If there was something that people liked in an area, or they bought a factory out and they had a favorite thing.
All right. Yeah, I put my tab in between my. I've done this before. I got it just in between my two windows, so it's stuck there, and I can't reach can't close it, and I can't move it.
You're not on Windows though?
Well, I am, but
Alt tab will tab you between different windows.
well, it made it disappear. I don't know where it went.
Well, it just is a different tab, so it's still there. It's just that it's not highlighted.
No, it's not. There's no tab for it. I don't know where it went. Unless it's. I put it underneath. So it dropped it underneath, but didn't move it. I don't. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll just leave her there. Back to what I was doing. And Spaggy said, I'm totally splitting a box of donuts with you guys. I love custard and jelly filled ones. Yeah, the jelly filled ones I do like, but I can't eat them a lot. I don't know. It's that kind of filling where it's real. I don't know how to describe it. The kind you get where it's it's not like if you make a filling at home, but it's got like a thickener in it where it's not syrupy, but kind of like that smooth syrupy, but not syrupy. I don't know how to describe it.
A lot of times it's custard, so I don't know what it is. It's made out of like egg or something gross, and it's like almost like a pudding or something. If you're talking about the cream filled,
It's talking about the jelly filled.
Oh, sorry. A lot of people are saying donuts are overrated. I used to like donuts back in the days when we first got cars, or at least we could drive our sister's cars or something. Like we had access to cars, and we figured out we could go out at, I forget, like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and the donut places would just give you all their old donuts, and we were like, "Oh man, this is awesome."
There's I don't know if they're still in business anywhere, but there was a chain called God, now I forget what it was called. It's like Midnight Donut, something like that. But they were only open at night, so they'd open
Oh, interesting.
in the evening and then close in the morning. But like for the last hour on certain days, it'd be, well, this was more than 20 years ago, but they'd have like a $5 fill up a bag deal, as many donuts you could stuff in a little paper bag you get for $5. But
That's really super smart because you'd get a bunch of people that would fill the bag, but most people would be like 3. That's all I need. That's all I want. Yeah.
These are the donuts I was talking about with the raspberry filling. They're a cake donut. And I swear Hostess used to make them too.
I mean, Hostess good. I would just never ate them, so I wouldn't have bought them. So they could be sitting right there, and I just wouldn't even look at them.
And it's just a little bit of filling.
Like I wouldn't buy big donuts like that from a box. If I was gonna have any reason to buy a big donut like that, I'd just go to a Dunkin' Donuts place. Except I like the local chains, the little mom and pops that are just getting up every morning and making them.
Yeah, one of the problems with these is if you close the box tightly, the donuts will sweat. So you start losing they're powder coated. Then it gets kind of gloppy. Tara's listening while on the road. She's hauling ass southbound. I'll stay safe. Thanks for listening. Hacho's asking, anybody remember the cheeseburger that used donuts for the buns? I do. That's one I would never buy. I just can't. Does not sound good in any way to me.
I remembered hearing about it, never tried it. There's just some things that make me go, yeah, if I eat that, that's taking several years off my life.
Well, just that the sugary glaze on it with a hamburger does not sound appealing.
No, I don't know. Like just because you can do things doesn't mean you should do things.
In that, I don't know, because I think of that aspect, because you're going to have more of a salty seasoning to the burger. So you get that sweet and salty thing going on with the glaze. That may not be as bad as it sounds.
Well, they do it, so it has to be good, right? Like they keep doing it, so people eat it. Like,
oh yeah, that too.
Just doing it on a dare, then it must be somehow good.
I don't know. I tend to like to keep savory with savory and sweet with sweet. Sweet and sour is kind of where I'll mix them. Sweet and sour shrimp, sweet and sour pork, sweet and sour chicken. But other than that, I don't like sweet potato fries. I don't like sweet potato fries because they shouldn't be sweet. They should just be savory. Roy Munson is saying G23 can't stop talking about Voodoo Donuts. I think he's in Big Donut's pocket. That could be. He does rave about Voodoo Donuts. He might be on the take. Baron said, I've made donut burgers. Not very good, but might be the way I made it.
How many Scoville units were they?
That's what I was going to say. He probably doused it in fire ant sauce. G23 said, I get a check from Voodoo. That's why I only promote them. And looks like Pink sent me an email.
They make a linguine donut that you like.
You can taste the salt, the salty sweet, while it tastes you back.
Yeah, as I say, if you're tasting a donut while it's tasting you, that's not the donut I want to be.
Boo. Uh, so Pink, God, I got that window is in the way again. The
Where
one
was
that I can't-
everybody for 20 questions? Is my show too early for everybody? We could have like 20 questions over there.
I listened to some of it. I woke up after you started already.
I'll start doing brackets. That'll attract more people.
I had an important phone call. And say, I'm surprised there wasn't a riot today over my bracket. So
What was your bracket again? I listened to it, but I was half out of it.
gun movies that are Christmas themed or Christmas themed gun movies, however you want to phrase it. The parameters were pretty loose with it. Basically, the movie could just have one little reference or depiction of Christmas, and it could just have one scene with a gun, and it could qualify it. Just because I was having trouble coming up with 16 movies that would fall into that category, and then Forrest Gump won. So
Really?
yeah, Reindeer Games took out both Die Hard and Die Hard 2. But I believe Reindeer Games finally succumbed to Forrest Gump. It was remarkable.
Because of that girl in it, or some other reason?
I think it's just because Forrest Gump's incredible.
No, I mean that other movie. Was it
All Reindeer Games? I'm not sure. I've never seen Reindeer Games, so after learning that it's apparently a Christmas themed gun movie, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go check this out.
It's a comedy. It's like a. I don't know what to call it. It's like an action comedy, I guess,
Oh snap! Now I really got to check it out.
with Ben Affleck. With some girl. Who's the girl?
Shirley's there, and
Somebody's daughter, I thought, right?
Well, she'd have to be somebody's daughter.
Well, I mean, but that actress is some other famous actress's daughter, I thought. That's how she got into the job.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But this is Voodoo Donuts that
Yeah, I'm
Pink
over here
took a
looking
video
for
of.
Pink's thing. Is this new or is this an old one?
June
that-
1st, 2021.
Oh, okay. I'm looking all over Pink's thing and I don't see it anywhere.
But
There's that one that said mango. I think I would try that. I don't know if it's jelly or what, but that does sound kind of interesting. I've never heard of a mango donut before.
the maple bacon bar, that's the one that kind of made him famous. That
Mhm.
got him on the TV shows. Which I don't know. I haven't had theirs. I've had one that had they weren't strips of bacon. It was more of a bacon crumble, and it didn't do anything for me. I didn't think the bacon added to the donut.
Yeah, the one I had, I didn't like it either. But I haven't had theirs, and I'll try it again. I would think I would eat almost every one of those donuts.
There's one for Baron, Ring of Fire. Got a red chili on it.
I was hoping it had a gun in there.
And then kind of in the middle, that big chocolate covered one, that's G23's favorite. I think it's called a cock and balls, and it's got a cream filling.
You got to watch out for that bone in the center.
But yeah, I don't know. Just here coming around in a second, there. Where is it?
Like that
There's
powdered
the-
one? You can have that powdered one.
Dirt, Chuckles, Vicious, Hibiscus, Captain Crunch, Grape Ape, Voodoo Bubble.
Grape? You can have the grape one. I don't want that either.
Yeah, so they're just throwing crap on it and throwing member berries at it.
Yeah, I don't want to eat no Captain Crunch on a donut. How do you expect? Like milk might make Captain Crunch able to be eaten, but a donut ain't gonna help nothing.
I'm not saying they shouldn't exist. If people want to eat them, they can eat them. But
I don't know. I think that looks better than it would actually be with Captain Crunch on it.
yeah, just looks messy. But thanks for sending that in.
Well, and here's the thing: it all looks really nice, but they're wasting a bunch of frosting, and you're paying for all that wasted frosting. They're not eating it, so like metaphorically, they're not, taking that out of their losses. They're paying for all that extra icing they're not putting on the donuts. Mango Tango. What is in there? Is it a jelly or a pudding or something made out of mango?
I don't know.
I'd give mango a pass because it'd be pretty good. You'd have to do something horrible to mango to make it bad. Put it with licorice or something.
Yeah, I wish I knew how to get rid of this tab that's in the way of everything now. The only way I figured last time this happened.
Do you have two monitors?
Yeah.
Just move it over to the other monitor. Oh, stretch
I can't.
it.
Well, that's the problem. I can't move it.
You can't grab a corner and stretch it to the other monitor?
I can only grab the sides and the bottom. I can't grab the top. It's sitting in between.
Grab the sides and drag it to their monitor, and then sometimes the resolution on the other monitor lets you grab a corner.
Oh, wait. Oh, I think you're right. I can see it now. I can see it in the top monitor. Yeah, I got it closed.
Okay.
There's just this little sliver on my top monitor. Thank you. That was going to bug me. But I don't need
toolbox. I don't have to look. I don't have to reach over to my toolbox now. I can just look in this monitor.
Baron is saying,
Alt tab would have taken you selected between the current windows, and then Alt F4 would have closed the one.
There we go. Alt tab then F4. We got it taken care of. Yeah, I don't get donuts very often, and I'm kind of a donut snob where I don't like day-old donuts. I'll only get them if they're fresh-ish.
I almost only ever eat anything day-old. It's way cheaper.
I agree with Boss though. Day-old donuts, like day-old bread, that's no problem. But day-old donuts, those just get stale and really weird and yuck.
They do. Yeah, the grease and stuff starts to harden and get gross.
Mm-hmm. I think that's part of the reason. Like, if you go get donuts in like the afternoon, they're way cheaper because they know they're not going to sell them the next day.
They're depending on the store's policy. Some of them will discount them that night. Some will discount them the next morning. Yeah, Baron's saying day-old donuts to make donut pudding. I've never had donut pudding.
Sounds hideous. Lost me at pudding. That's disgusting.
Maybe a variation on bread pudding, just using the donuts as the.
Yeah, I've never had bread pudding.
I've seen the thing where people put donuts in a thing that are like stale and then put milk or something on it, so it might be something. You've never had bread pudding?
No.
Well, in my opinion, do yourself a favor. Don't eat it. It's like old world food. It's like when people didn't have sugar and they were like, "Oh, it tastes slightly sweeter to put bread and milk together and eat it as a dessert." It's not a dessert. It's just bread.
I figured it's like half the foods where it's just leftover stuff that they need to do something with because you don't throw it out.
Yeah, exactly. If your great-great-grandparents liked it, probably not that good.
Barrett said, imagine French toast casserole with donuts instead of bread. Wow. It's hard to imagine.
Yeah, now I have to imagine that. I went through my whole life without having to think about that. Now I'm thinking about that.
Wesley Foster said donuts can be frozen and then thawed out in 45 seconds in a microwave.
I was going to say about the stale ones. Have you ever done anything like that? Nuked them or zapped them or anything? Zap them in a regular toaster oven too. Kind of it shocks the. I don't know the technical term for what the fats do in a donut, but it kind of can shock that stuff. It's a rubbery for sure. It's not the same as a fresh donut, but it's not stale anymore.
Oh, I could see it bring it back, but it might be
Kind of brings it back. It doesn't really
like
bring it just makes it hot.
biscuits or some stuff like that where you can microwave them for real fast, and it'll kind of bring them back. But then when they cool off, they're even worse than they were before you started. So you got to eat them fast. Oh, do you guys? I don't know. The fair scones. Do you guys have the Fisher fair scones? You get at the fair, county fairs and stuff.
I'm not eating scones. Scones are like biscuits, right? Like dry biscuits with a little bit of sugar on them.
Yeah, more, a little sweeter, but yeah.
Yeah, they're way too much for no, I never liked scones. If you get like a chocolate chip scone with a bunch of frosting on it, maybe, but then it still tastes like bread with chocolate chips and frosting.
The Fisher ones, those are kind of the gold standard around here. I go to the fair to get those. I'll look at the exhibits and stuff, and but it's to get the scones. And I found out the lady, when I was standing in line, told me, yeah, just freeze them, and then to thaw them out, just leave them on the counter. And so if you get the Fisher Fair scones, you can freeze them and then just leave them on the counter, and it's just like you just bought them when they thaw out. The goddamn bacon saying a scone still sounds the most emasculating thing to get hit with in a fight. I'm just saying.
They're pretty dense. They're somewhere between a cookie and a biscuit, right?
Yeah.
So they probably hurt.
Let's see what.
At the place where I was at, where I had them, they would make cinnamon scones all the time. That's what people would eat, and it's like bread with cinnamon chunks, and there's sugar in there, but not like I don't know, like a cake or something. It's bread with some sugar in it, and then these little chunks of cinnamon. But everybody would rip them apart, and it's sort of like somewhere between a croissant or something, but they would dip it in coffee, so maybe a little bit more sweet than a croissant or something, but almost bread. So I think that was something that you had to grow up with. Did you ever eat biscotti?
Yeah, I have had, I think once.
I think it's the same kind of thing, though. Like, if you like it, you like it. If you don't understand why everybody else eats it.
G23 sent in this.
That's what I'm used to.
And he said he doesn't like American donuts. This is what he likes.
Yeah, I don't know, like all of those, but some of them are all right. Every country has some kind of gross waste of time donut, that's for sure. I think that's for old people when they can't eat sugar anymore.
Yeah,
or maybe babies, when you don't want to give baby sugar, you just give them bread or something.
I haven't had any of these, so I don't know what any of these taste like.
Oh, really? Zoom in on them. That's just any Mexican bakery's going to have all of those, really. Well, maybe not that thing that looks like a kolachki or whatever.
Uh-oh. Going the wrong way. There we go.
The one is just a piece of bread, and the other thing's just a piece of bread. The one top left one is a piece of bread, and the top right one's a piece of bread. The top left one is a piece of bread with 2 clumps of cheese on it, and then that other thing's a piece of bread with some sugar on top, and then the argirella thing is a kind of a crispy piece of toast kind of thing that's sweet. I don't know what that muffin is on the right. And then that other thing is just cornbread, except really fluffy, like angel food cornbread. And then the other thing, what says Purina di Pollo con Pina. What is polo? Is that chicken?
Yeah.
So horn of chicken something. But anyway, that's probably just a piece of fried. I've never seen that one before. Some kind of fried cone, maybe. I think I've seen fried cones like that, but they fill them with custard. But I hope there's not chicken in there.
G23 just likes it because it's penis shaped. He likes phallic foods.
Putting things in there.
Yeah.
What are you doing to that donut?
Cream filling it.
But all of these are sweet. They're not like super sweet like a real donut. Like these are kind of sweet like an old person donut. So they're, dip them in coffee or something. Put jelly on them or something.
Yeah, and near my mother-in-law's house in Japan, in the mornings we'd walk over to this little bakery, and it was tiny little bakery. I can't remember if it was like attached to their house, but so it was stuff made every morning and really good. And there was a bread with cheese in it, and it was a soft cheese. I don't know what kind of cheese was. I love that. Every time we'd go, I'd get that.
Like a sweet cheese or a regular cheese?
Regular cheese.
Some of these, like that one, that pan de calotes or whatever, is probably a sweet cheese in there.
That's what made me think of it.
Yeah. That would probably be pretty good. Although it's probably super dry also.
I
feel like if you had told everybody it would have been a donut show, everybody could have gone to a donut place and brought donuts to the show.
Well, we talked about donuts a lot longer than I thought we would. So, show us your donuts. The goddamn bacon's asking, so what cheese do you prefer if you had to be force-fed roast beef sandwiches from Arby's? My favorite cheese is just cheddar. A nice cheddar.
Do they give you choices at Arby's?
No, I don't think so.
I think all they have is that wannabe cheddar nacho style cheese.
Yeah.
Does Arby's squirt liquid cheese onto sandwiches?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I thought. And then they had some kind of a white sauce or something, like a horseradish sauce.
Yeah, they're horsey
sauce.
Horsey sauce.
Yep.
Didn't
Which
Arby's
is actually. Sorry, go ahead. What?
I was just saying, I thought Arby's did a thing. It might have been years ago now, where they were doing like elk and venison and stuff. It was like just for a couple of times during the year or something.
Yeah, it was only select locations and stuff too.
Yeah. I never got to see one. I heard about it, and then I'm like, oh man, it's coming. And then they had like 7 sandwiches available for Tucson or something.
Yeah, they did a lot of it down in the Southwest. There wasn't really anything up in my area that got it from what I understood. But
that sounded cool, though. It was a good idea.
G23 says feta. Feta is okay. It's not my go-to kind of cheese.
I mean, I'm sure it's fine with lingua, I guess.
It's too crumbly for most stuff.
Yeah. Like feta's good in like any pasta salad, but
Turning Gun says I'll stick with oaf a la neige or a simple Melba toast.
I have no idea what that is either.
I feel like if it had to be on a Arby's roast beef sandwich, I feel like a really good pepper jack cheese melted over the roast beef would be incredible.
Well, G23 said they have pepper jack cheese and cheddar also.
I did not know that.
I didn't either.
How come they always put pepper jack in white cheese? I think it would be cool to see like a orange cheese, like a sharp cheddar with a bunch of peppers in there.
Oh, that'd just be really good. Like if they actually made it sharp cheddar and had the peppers in it, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, right. Like super sharp, and then throw some jalapenos or something in there. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
I've been eating the hell out of that jalapeno. I'm still chewing on that bottle you sent me.
Like a super sharp cheddar is just incredible in general. I hate people that are like, can you get mild cheddar? No. I like good cheese. If you want mild cheddar, go get American because you have bad taste in cheese.
American's not cheese. It's
American's butter.
processed cheese
Yeah.
product.
I want something
Yep.
oily on my food, but without any flavor. Like I don't want any kind of sharpness
Exactly.
or any kind of tang.
Tara Smith said apple pie, slice of cheese or no cheese. I think we talked about this the other day.
I don't think I've ever eaten it that way, and I don't think I ever will. I'm just not gonna.
Yeah, I had a friend that he told me the first time I heard about it was from him, and he said it's great, and I never wanted to try it.
Nope.
I think I seen it on a picture one time, like before the internet. I seen it on some ad or someplace, and I was like, "What is this? What is they trying to pull with this shit? Is this Weird Al Yankovic or what?" And then somebody was like, "Oh no, that's a thing." And my grandpa was like, "Oh, that's excellent," or something. And I'm like, "Okay, if you like it, you like sardines and weird shit, so I'm not eating it because you like it."
Yeah. Like things like that are what make Rick go and have one of his rants on his show about us Americans and our cheese. Like, come on. Let's not give them excuses to have rants like that.
They do stuff like, we need to supplement, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to pay so-and-so to do something. And then they're like, oh, dang it. Now we got all this milk. And then what are they going to do with it? Okay, now they're going to make cheese out of it. Now they got all this cheese. What are they going to do with it? Oh, I know. Let's put it on apple pie. You know, it seems like something like that. Doesn't seem like somebody was like, you know what would be good on apple pie? Something that no one's ever thought about putting on it.
Echoes Reloading Chamber said, I love me some pepper jack cheese and cheddar. The sharper, the better. Well, that's what the government cheese, all that was a way to get rid of the subsidized milk. Because they made it, they bought up all the milk from the milk farms to keep the prices higher and then put them in a cave. And then they took some of that cave cheese and gave it out to people.
Now, if they made it into the kind of cheese that would age into sharp cheddar or something, I mean, awesome. But they made it into American cheese, so it just sat there being the same.
It does make great grilled cheese sandwiches. The government cheese. And cheddar jack, the only time I like cheddar jack is there's a local company, not blanking on their name, but they do meats, smoked meats and stuff, and then they have some smoked cheeses, but they do their trail mix, which is little chunks of beef jerky, pepperoni, a couple kinds of pepperoni, and then some little squares of cheeses. That's their trail mix, and there's a pepper jack in that, and it's really good mixed in with all the meats and stuff. G23 said Tillamook offers a cheddar jack. Do you guys have Tillamook cheese over there where you guys are?
Yeah, you can get it.
Cups of cheese.
Never
Yeah.
heard of it.
It's from Oregon. It's from the Tillamook region. That's why it's called Tillamook.
Is it a
To me,
spreadable like bucket of cheese?
No, well, they've got blocks of cheeses and shredded cheeses. I wasn't sure how far they distribute.
I mean, I've definitely heard of it, but I'm thinking of or am I thinking of the ball that has nuts on the outside and you carve into it at a party or something? Or is that kind of cheese?
Cheese balls? Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like a spreadable type of cheese though? Not
I think
like
they
a block of
do
cheese.
make
Some of
one,
them are
but
good.
they're just a dairy company, so they
Oh,
make cheese.
Bing.
Maybe that's
Um,
what they send out here then. So I'm only seeing that piece of it.
Yeah, because they also make like cottage cheese and stuff like that. Yogurts.
I mean, the name certainly sounds familiar. So I'm sure
Yeah, I
it's-
drove one time, and I think in high school we drove by through the. I think it's a county. Can't remember if it's a county or town. The Tillamook. That's when I realized that it's the Tillamook. That's like Ore-Ida. Yeah, you guys have Ore-Ida, like French fries, frozen fries, and stuff. They're located on the border of Oregon and Idaho. That's why it's Ore-Ida.
Oh,
I found out because we drove past the factory. So Turning Gut says Bannon cheese is great on apple pie. It's a type of goat cheese.
you ever heard of tallow? The people that like buy guns and then they have them made into engraved things, or they paint them
Yeah.
fancy, or they do some kind of a special thing. You
Yeah.
heard of tallow? You know what that stands for?
No.
Barbecue. You know what tallow stands for?
Can't say I do.
That's Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma.
Oh,
Kind of the same thing.
I wouldn't have guessed.
I only heard that one time whenever one of their reps was saying it one time. I'm like, wait a minute, what? I thought it was just somebody's name or something. But it's always capital. I never paid attention.
but doesn't Kansas kind of break up all those from
No,
actually
that's just
touching?
it's the states that the company was in whenever they started doing
The K is
Okay.
silent.
it. No, tallow is just the three. It's like the 4 states that they had locations in. It was just some company that had stores in those states.
I always thought that it was just some European word.
Yeah, I just thought it was somebody's name or something, but it's always capitalized, and that's why.
So going back to cheeses real quick, one of my favorite cheeses is made by Cabot, which is a Vermont company. They make this habanero cheese. It's incredible.
So I was just thinking, is there some way to get like a cheese thing where there's like, I don't know, 10 to 15 to 30 types of cheeses on there, and then everybody orders it, and then instead of having a goofy let's eat hot stuff or watch a couple of people throw up from eating hot stuff, everybody just sits around gnawing on cheeses and going, oh, this is good, or that bad, or I like this one, and we're all eating the same cheeses.
Yeah, usually a cheese platter will only have like 4, maybe 5
Mhm.
cheeses.
What's up with that? Well, like 25 or 40.
Also, Aldi has a ghost pepper cheese that is pretty friggin' awesome as well. Actually, the local Amish store here had a ghost pepper cheese. That stuff kicked the crap out of me. I was not prepared for the difference between that and the Aldi stuff. That stuff from the Amish store. Holy cow.
Oh, come on, dude. You're saying, I was trying to open up Amazon to look for a cheese platter, but you're saying that Amish cheese is better than the store?
Oh, man. Most definitely. But
Yeah, I
the
was gonna say,
ghost
like,
pepper stuff,
could that not be people making the cheese, like literally grab it from the cow, smash it in the thing, and then like, I don't know what they do with it, but whatever they do to it versus
Yep.
a factory. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's like when I was a little kid, I've eaten at Amish places, and I'm sure that's why I'm fat, because I was like, oh, okay, food can be good. Now I know what eating is.
Mhm.
Did they make anything bad at one of those places?
I don't think so.
I mean, you might not like sweet potatoes or something, but everything is going to be delicious.
Like even when my cousin passed, the Amish family down the road from my cousin's house, they told my other cousin, his mother, don't worry about anything. We're going to cook for the whole thing. And they did. all that food was amazing. I mean, there wasn't anything that was bad.
All right. So if we were going to have a deal where everybody went to Amazon and bought a cheese platter, how much are you willing to spend? Because they've got a 12-piece one for $143. It doesn't sound that bad when you start to think
Holy
about it.
cow! What are all the flavors on it?
No, I know. I'm just kidding. It's like some kind of. It's not. It's whole things of cheese for one. It's not like samples, but it's also
Yeah.
fancy, pinky up in the air Martha Stewart stuff instead of just regular old. Here's a bunch of cheeses.
I gotta say, I love cheese. I just remember you guys mentioned a cheese ball a little bit ago. I never tried cheese ball until I think it was like 3 years ago. And then I was like, oh, this is freaking incredible. Why have I not tried this before? Other than the fact that it looks disgusting. And I don't think cheese is supposed to come in a ball like this. But once I was kind of forced into trying it, I was like, this is freaking incredible.
Yeah, they're not good for you because they're not real. I mean, they are cheese, but they're cheese with a bunch of stuff that makes it not good for you. Like, but because they make it spreadable, I guess. But
well, that's the thing.
It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. I really dig blue cheese. And so a simple recipe for that, you're talking about cheese balls for a party or whatever, Neufchâtel or cream cheese, whatever kind of cream cheese you want, blend it in. Any soft cheese will blend into cream cheese. And you could also you could do your roll it around in whatever you want kind of deal. It's like really easy to do. The longer you, and by the way,
that would be totally different. I'm thinking of the kind in the store because it's always like one step away from Cheese Whiz rolled around in nuts or something, because they're just making.
Oh, the pasteurized product, yeah.
No, but what
I know what you're saying there.
No, yeah, that'd be totally, and that's
like
what I'm
port wine.
For. Someplace, yeah, exactly, those things, and that's where it's okay. But I figure, once a year, yeah, I'll eat it. But then I feel like I'm eating mayonnaise or something. Like it's not. It's more of a cheese spread than a cheese,
Well, that's the thing. Like, I was watching. I think it was History Channel, and they were doing this thing on cheeses, and they're going to this cheese tasting thing, like a wine tasting, except they do it with cheese. And they're talking about the consistency of the cheese and, how easy it is to spread, because a good cheese is supposed to be really easy to spread like butter. I'm like, what? No, I don't think that's cheese anymore. That's just.
It really depends on the cheese. There are soft cheeses that are pretty common. I mean, brie is going to be in.
Think of cream cheese.
So Echo was asking, does anybody use Garmin dog collars for training and tracking their dogs? We've got one on our Catahoula. It works very nice, up to 9 miles. I don't.
I had a buddy who used a Garmin one, but I know his did not go up to 9 miles. That's pretty impressive.
Tara Smith's Kitchen, and I keep wanting to call her Tara Reed's Kitchen because Rich White did that on his chat on Sunday. Call her Tara Reed's Kitchen. So now I got that stuck in my head. So if I say that, Tara, I apologize. It's Rich's fault. But she's asking poppy seed, apricot, peach, or blueberry kolaches.
Cheese.
I'd say blueberry just because I like blueberry.
But that's same as jelly donuts. I would have left all of those for other people and then ate the cheese. And then they would make them without any of that for me because I never liked that stuff.
Turning Guns, a bear case is what I like on beef sandwiches.
Is that a cheese?
Yeah, I think it's a soft cheese. Maybe I looked it up because I hadn't heard of it. It's also known as Wieslacker. It's a German cheese.
So am I crazy, or wasn't there tiny little cheeses in triangles, and you could get thing that was a circle of like
Yeah.
16 cheeses, right?
Yep.
Why can't I find that on Amazon? All I'm finding is like the size of like a piece of bread, but not that thick. But I'm like, who needs that big of a chunk of cheese? I'm just looking for the little triangles like that, or like what you get on an airplane, or in a hotel. Well, I guess hotels don't give you cheese.
Attorney Gunn said you have to get the aged Tillamook. It's kind of hard to get. I don't know if I've had their aged, but that's their cheddar cheese is what the sliced cheddar cheese is what I use for sandwiches. I kind of go back and forth between the regular and their sharp cheddar, and they do make good grilled cheese sandwiches, but you have to cover your pan, otherwise your bread will toast faster than the cheese will melt. But just fry one side, flip it over, then cover your pan, and that'll help melt the cheese.
Oh, that did it. I was typing in cheese assortment and typing it to cheese sampler. Made it way more like what I'm looking for. Thanks. I gotta change it to cheapest. There are some fancy cheese cutting boards nowadays, FYI.
Goddamn Bacon saying those cheeses are Laughing Cow. The ones you're talking about, G.
Could be. Is that? I mean, I think the ones I'm talking about where they're like wrapped in foil could totally be right. But I'm just thinking of something that size. Like you would think somebody'd make like, well, here's 100 of them that are all little, and then $50 or something, $40 or something. What's the worst cheese? Fake cheese. I don't like the stuff that's like oil spun up, turned yellow, and added salt or something. So like some kind of canned cheese or squirt cheese. I don't like those kind of fake cheeses.
I don't know what the worst cheese. I would agree with you. Kind of the heavily processed.
Oh well, you probably guys have probably never ate this, but there are some vegan cheeses that are the reason why you eat vegan stuff, because I don't know what they are, but they're, I guess maybe if you just hate the world and you're like, I hate everybody and I hate everything and I'm going to call this cheese, like there's only been like 2 vegan cheeses that I've ever ate that were even close to being cheese.
They always look like clay.
I don't know what they're doing. There's some stuff that they do nowadays, but it's not good.
There's one I saw that it's gray. And it looks like somebody shredded a block of clay. People buy it. They like it. Great.
People like weird stuff, but yeah, that's probably the worst cheeses. Is the stuff that they're trying to make it look like cheese, either by science or by whatever they're thinking.
Echo said we have a Wright's Catahoula Leopard, the original breed from Louisiana. He's got the best personality of any dog I've ever been around. Great bay dog for catching hogs. And Turning Gun said, I always cook grilled cheese open-faced with the lid on. It toasts and melts at the same time. It's faster.
As long as you put it back together, I'm okay with that. I just refuse to eat an open-faced sandwich.
And Goddamn Bacon said, vegan cheese? I've taken the Impossible Whopper challenge, and that's a nah from me. I've tried one of the plant-based burgers. It was Costco had, I don't remember if it's the Impossible, which one it was, but I had seen a bunch of articles about how great it was and how much it tasted like beef, and it tasted nothing like beef. I think I tried one and then threw the rest of it away.
They make them out of all different kind of stuff, and some people, it's like the ones that are made out of this people like, but other people don't, and that's why they make them out of different stuff. But yeah, they all taste like the best they could hope for is it tastes like the worst cafeteria food or something. Like the food that has the most filler in it might taste something like that, right? Like the worst hospital food or something.
And I do like the Boca burgers. I used to get them from Costco.
What is that?
It's a vegetarian burger thing.
Like a bean one? Usually there's like ones that where they're not trying to act like meat and they're just trying to be an alternative type of sandwich, and those will be okay. But they're usually full of fat and stuff that you're not supposed to be eating anyway.
Bocas are a good example of that, like alternative patty kind of deal. They're good.
It's like baked beans, or not baked beans, but like some kind of bean type of situation.
They've got different flavors. I like just the all-American veggie burger one, and it doesn't taste like a burger, but I kind of like how it tastes.
Yeah, they just give you a form factor of a different type of food, but the problem is most of them aren't. I mean, I don't know about them, but most of those kind of products are whatever it is that binds it together is the same kind of bad stuff that's in the original thing that's being bound together. Like you can't chop something up and then bind it back together naturally, It's going to be bound together with something that's bad for you. If they're always the bean ones are usually pretty good, but like I say, they're usually held together by some kind of oils that aren't good for you.
Turning Gun said Gruyere and Chevrolet and Brie make good toast. And
so close to being French that I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't like it.
Said I cooked the sandwich open and then put them together, so yes. And G23 said black bean burger equals Boca. I don't actually know. I thought they were soy. I don't know what's in them.
Soy you wouldn't like. Soy ends up tasting really chewy. They usually call it chicken. So they'll end up calling it tastes like chicken because it's got that chewiness or whatever. But most people don't like anything made out of soy. It tastes pretty gross.
Because they do have one that's black bean, so I didn't think it was black bean. But just water, soy protein, concentrate, wheat, gluten, contains less than 2%.
Out of jackfruit that people don't pay attention to. You ever eat jackfruit before?
I haven't. I've seen people talk about it.
It supposedly ends up, it tastes like just stuff. It just tastes like something in there, but they describe it, it's like a substitute for shredded, or I guess barbecue or shredded type of meat because of the way it comes out of the fruit or whatever. It's like that one spaghetti squash, how it comes out of the fruit, like in a form factor. It comes out of the fruit and it looks kind of like shredded chicken or shredded pork or something.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. It looks like pulled pork, and then you just put whatever sauce you want with it and stuff like that. And from what I understand, it's supposed to have a pretty close flavor to pork.
So I don't think of the flavor as much as like the stays in the food. Like it doesn't fall apart into nothing like mush. Like it stays in that firminess or whatever. So it gives you that like same texture.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say the texture too is another thing that helps it in that argument. It's something I've always wanted to try, but I just never get around to going and buying a jackfruit.
Well, that's the thing. You have eaten it, you just don't realize it because it's cheap. So, and nobody can tell the difference. So it's in stuff, but it'll just be like in cheap foods and stuff. So I've eaten it and it's okay, but I don't think you can buy them. I think they're from like Equator or something. I think we just get them canned all the time here. I'm not sure. I might be thinking of another thing.
The regular Boca burgers are soy, but I know they do also have a black bean burger.
Usually people don't like the soy ones. They'll get real chewy and then they'll also cook down a lot. There's like a lot of fat in soy ones usually. Or at least the ones I I've had. I usually find, I'll be like, oh, let me try these, and I don't remember which ones I like. So if they're like $2 a box, I'll buy just 3 boxes, one of each, and then try them, and then I go, okay, I like the bean ones. Yeah, let's do the bean ones.
I just fry them like a burger, put cheese on it. Basically make a cheeseburger. But it's been a while since I've had them. Goddamn Bacon said jackfruit is a staple of the vegan diet for those that still want the taste of actual food. While I'm thinking about it, so the end of the month is the 31st is Saturday night, so we'll do the overnight, do an overnight on that, have a year-end chat. Probably talk about whatever stuff from the year, and then we'll do, I was thinking maybe we'll do a giveaway. Maybe do, I'm still trying to figure it out, but maybe do like 3 prize packs for it. And then still need to figure out how to make people work for those prize packs, but so write that on your calendars for the 31st.
Will there be fighting to the death?
Probably not this time.
I've been training all year for this. You're telling me we're not going to fight to the death?
I know, but the arena, it won't be finished in time.
Fine.
There's a problem with the permits, so it pushed everything back.
Dang contractors. This is what you get when you hire union help.
Turning Gun said, if I remember right, jackfruit is the largest fruit, like 100 pounds or something ridiculous. Yeah, aren't they big and bumpy?
That's the one I'm thinking of, yeah. And that's why you don't really ever see them in a store or nothing. I don't know if they're all that big, but they're not little. And you have to rip a bunch of it's like a coconut. You rip a bunch of the outside off of it or something.
I thought they're like from Australia or something.
Somewhere not here, yeah. They're on some island or something. Looks like oops. There we go. So here's a picture of a jackfruit. And I don't think this is in Australia, but they might have some there. I don't know. Because she doesn't look Australian. Cambodia. She's just really little, and those are like oranges.
Oh, yeah, well, need that. G23 is questioning if 31st exists. Yes, it does exist. Echo said, when I get my internet straightened out, brother, I would like to have you on the show sometime at your convenience. Sure. I'm kind of boring, but I'd be happy to come on. My schedule is the opposite of everybody else's schedule, so it may take a little wrangling to get it all worked out, but we'll get something figured out. So what do you guys got going on coming up here this week?
Nothing. eBay.
Same old same. I've actually got a couple videos on my phone that I should edit, but I just haven't gotten around to it. The most recent video that I filmed was actually building a door, just because I will often get asked, how does a blind guy use power tools like a miter saw? So I figured I'd film it this time. Now I've got to edit it.
Is it like a tool time video where things don't quite go right?
Actually, things went really right with this. I mean, made the door fit perfect. Actually, no, there was one thing that went terribly wrong, and that's that I didn't think about checking and making sure that the floor was level going from the doorway out into the kitchen. And so the door drags across the floor now. Like, it's perfect for the doorway itself, but once I get the door open about halfway, it starts dragging across the floor. I'm like, crap.
How are you going to fix that?
I'll just let it keep dragging across the floor until everything smooths itself out. Whatever. Not too worried about it. Yep.
It's not the hinges?
Nope. Nope, just the floor is unlevel there.
So do you have a chat tomorrow?
I do. 11 p.m. Eastern.
What are you going to talk about?
I think we're going to discuss talking about 2A with anti-gunners. Like, if you find yourself in some sort of debate, intentionally or unintentionally, and you find yourself being in that perpetual just being bombarded with scenario after scenario, and instead of just always replying to their ridiculous scenario, try and take control of the conversation and turn the tables, because the conversation is going to go a lot better if you're in control at that point.
That'd be interesting, because how to deal with trying to have a rational conversation when a lot of times they're just bringing emotion.
Yes.
So that'd be kind of interesting. How to deal with that, not getting into an emotional battle with them, because you're not going to win that.
Never.
Yeah, and this weekend will be an overnight. We're going to talk about gun buybacks.
Ooh.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
I have a shirt that says that. I think somebody in this room sent it to me.
You're talking about your show tomorrow. You're going to talk about that stuff?
Yeah.
So are you doing a chat tomorrow, G?
I suppose I should. I guess I was just thinking that with the appeal to emotion, do you watch them? But I don't know if it was on Maj's channel or on Black Guns Matter. Do you follow those channels at all?
I don't. I know who they are, but I don't. I haven't watched their stuff.
Only when I get notifications.
I mean, it might have been. He's been like doing weird stuff lately, but I think it might have been in the last week or so. But just as you mentioned that, he had a thing, or it might have been like getting people ready for Thanksgiving. That's what it might have been. Like right before Thanksgiving, he might have posted this sort of like the DC Project did. Like, here's some things, some strategies to have a better conversation or whatever at Thanksgiving, because you might have political conversations that are going to get tense. And I think it was something like that. So at that time frame or whatever. And anyway, just to respond to what you said about like they're always going to go to emotion. And I'm not going to say it as well as he did. If you want, I'll go try to find his thing on Instagram. But it was something like, would you want a single mom to be able to defend herself or something? And then now you're bringing it to emotion with them. And then like, I think she should have the right to defend herself. And then that lets you have that. I think the concept there, he didn't break it down like this, but I've heard it broken down with that strategy of like, want to keep it into emotions, fine, keep it into emotions. They're using emotions with the, what's the word, like the ultimatum, like you have to either agree with not hurting children or all guns or something like, and that's not the only, you just have to, you don't have to change their mind from being emotional, just push them in or show them that there's another way to be emotional about this topic, that you're asking them to disarm all the disarm all the people that would now be victims.
Yep.
So as I was just gonna say, there are some strategies, and Maj's thing might be something to go check out. It's like it's an Instagram video, so it's like less than a minute long, and he says it. He takes it like 3 or 4 steps. Boom, 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 and he's like, "There you go. Now you're having an emotional conversation with them instead of against them."
DJ, you got anything going on? Anything you want to plug?
Gonna make more snacks. Got hang out with barbecue tomorrow. Should be a good time. On Saturdays, another good time. Hanging out at a Great Start Shooting School. That channel, I'll drop the link in the text chat. Conversations about mental health awareness, suicide, and the holidays. Come check that out. So I see y'all again. Be safe, have fun, carry your guns, and rock.
Yeah, and she's a great lady. She is, I would dare say, an incredible lady. Awesome lady.
What cheese do you think Brooke Cheney would like? If
Gruyere.
DJ ask her what cheese her favorite is, which was she gonna choose?
I feel like she's probably really simple with it. It's probably like something like provolone.
I don't know. I would say something a little fancier. At least a brie. So DJ, now you have to ask her. So you can.
Will do.
I think we all
check
should just
in
show
on
up at
Saturday.
I'll go with something like an orange, maybe an American or a cheddar.
I think we all should just show up at the chat on Saturday. And you're like, right when she fires up the chat, just spam the entire comment section, asking what kind of cheese she likes.
Yeah, I think that's all I got. Any parting words from anybody?
Bears
trying to.
cheese? Do bears have the right to eat cheese?
If they're in the picnic basket.
Only if I can have their arms.
Appreciate everybody that hung out with us, that was chatting out there in the live chat, and those who were listening but not chatting, appreciate you too, or watch this in a replay. Leave a comment. Let me know you're watching. Anything we talked about. Tell me your favorite cheese. I want to know your cheese. And check out the shows that we talked about. If you're not subscribed to any of these jamokes, go ahead and give them a sub. Check out their channels. Show them some love. But I hope everybody has a good night and good morning. Stay safe, stay warm, and bye-bye. Wrong one.